Traders, what's up, tycoons? Coming at you with another viewer request. This time we're looking at ADA, okay, Cardano, breaking it down on the daily chart for you guys. It's been a little bit since I covered ADA. What we're going to do is we're actually going to cover a few different things. We're going to take a look at the relative strength index, how you can use this to spot potential entries and exits, as well as some of the chart patterns that we have currently and the major levels of resistance, aka bullish price targets to the upside that we could potentially hit, as well as our major support levels using the Fibonacci retracement levels. As you can see, I have these sets of 3 levels right here, multiple times on the chart. These are very, very useful and very important. They're the 3 major Fibonacci retracement levels that help you establish whether something is in an uptrend or a downtrend, continuing that trend, or potentially getting a reversal. So make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and what we're going to do is jump straight into it. So if you notice, we have these wedge patterns all over. I'm sure that's one of the first things you're looking at. This is a rising wedge right here, a bearish pattern where if you break below this trend line here, you should see a strong move to the downside. And then we have a bullish falling wedge shortly afterwards where we got a nice breakout to the upside. And, in perfect world scenarios, what you're going to see happen is you're going to see these patterns play out and eventually come down to where they began, right? So for the rising wedge, it did end up hitting that target. If this falling wedge wants to play out all the way, okay, it could take us up here to right around our bullish price targets up here, right around where the pattern began. So it'll be really interesting to see, is this going to be a confirmed breakout and are we going to continue heading up higher? Or could this have been a look above and fail and buyers ultimately lost the opportunity and sellers end up taking control? There's a lot of work to be done for sellers to take control as things have been very bullish in the market. But we're going to go over the different things that you can use to potentially spot that as well as understand the price action. So of course, what we're going to do is we're actually start off with these 3 levels right here so you understand why we use them. Those are the 38.2, 50%, and 61.8. As I mentioned before, you use these to spot trend continuations because nothing moves in a straight line up or in a straight line down. Rather, you get a move up, retracement, continuation higher, or a move down, retracement, continuation lower. That's how you spot trend continuation, and that's clearly what we were getting every single time over here. Right, we had the move down, we had a retracement up towards the 50% level, and then we continued that trend, made a lower low, and then we retraced up towards the 50% level, retrace and continued that trend down lower until recently when we had the large move down, and then we came up and look how we consolidated a little bit, and then we broke out past our 61.8% retracement level right around 36. So we did get that reversal, right? And so rather than getting the trend continuation, we came up, we retraced, and then ultimately we ended up breaking through those levels and pushing higher. So we do have some bullish price targets to the upside of 0.4833, 0.5209, 0.5658, or 0.5685, as well as 0.6292. There's a lot of work to be done, but if we continue the bullishness, I can definitely see us hitting some, if not all, of those bullish price targets. That also would correlate along with this falling wedge pattern that we got a nice breakout of if we continue that bullishness. Now, if we pull back, that's perfectly fine. Okay, we could get some type of a healthy pullback. And these are going to be now our retracement levels of support. So we had the move up. If we retrace down to these levels, we still have the possibility of continuing the uptrend. Those levels are going to be 0.3508, 0.3295, and 0.3082. If we come down, start to consolidate and break through those levels, we could end up seeing a reversal and coming back down to retest some of our previous lows. Now, what would a break of our major retracement levels coincide with? It would also coincide with this rising wedge pattern. So keep a close eye to this trend line right here. If we end up breaking that trend line and breaking our major support levels of retracement, then, we could end up seeing a large move to the downside, potentially retesting some of our previous lows. Now, keep in mind, all right, what we had over here was we had the falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern, and then we broke through our retracement levels and got a nice move to the upside. So that's that's what we don't want to happen over here, is to get the pattern to play out and then break through the retracement levels. What we did was we got the bullishness, we got the breakout, we got the breakthrough of our retracement levels. So again, we have the possibility of, even if we get some type of a pullback, All right, this could be a look below and fail, just how I mentioned a look above and fail, right? So even if we do get some type of a pullback, if we hold above those levels, it's going to present sellers with the opportunity to really push prices lower. And if those sellers don't step in, it's going to show that buyers are in control and continue to push the price up. Now, there is something to be cautious of. Not only that we have this bearish chart pattern right here, but if you take a look at your RSI, your relative strength index, what we have is actually a bearish divergence. So take a look here how we have a low, or I'm sorry, how we have a high and then a higher high, right? So over here we have a high, and then over here, higher high, over here, higher high. So clearly the token was in an uptrend, right? It's going up in price. Well, what do you see? You actually see a high, a lower high, and then a lower high again. So when the relative strength index is making lower highs, but the price of the token is making higher highs, that's a term known as bearish divergence, and it indicates that you could see some type of bearish activity in the future. So it doesn't mean you have to pull back. And if you're bullish on this, what you would actually want is you would actually want to break out from this and then retest that trend line and stay above it, right? And continue to stay above it. We've tested the trend line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. The more times you test the trend line, the weaker it gets. And so there is the possibility that, we could break out from that trend line and eventually flip it to support. All right. So that's going to be kind of your bullish thesis there. So definitely pay close attention to that bearish divergence. And if we get some type of a pullback, just know that these 3 levels are going to be the major ones that we do need to hold to continue to go higher. Now, it also works on the opposite end with bullish divergence. So if you take a look here, right, we had a low, then we had a higher low on the RSI. And what we had was a low here and a lower low here. So keep in mind, we had the falling wedge, okay, bullish pattern forming. And then on top of the bullish pattern that was forming, we got bullish divergence where we made a low, lower low, and then we made a low and we made a higher low. So, we could see the same thing play out where we have a bearish pattern play out with bearish divergence, or, we could break through this bearish divergence trend line and really break through this pattern. Okay. Just because a pattern is there, is forming, doesn't mean it's confirmed. It's just a possible pattern that's in the works right now. And we haven't had a breakout for confirmation. Even if we just trade sideways and do something like this, it's going to void out that bearish rising wedge. Or if we come through here and make some highs and break through this trend line, it's going to break it out as well. So, you just have to keep an open eye to all possibilities and try not to be too biased, right? Let the price action tell you what's happening versus you try to tell the price action what to do. Because a lot of time the market's not going to do what you want it to do. It's going to do what it wants to do. And those two things can oftentimes be very different. But if you understand some of the strategies that we went over in this video, such as the Fibonacci retracements, divergence along the RSI, chart patterns, then you can start to get a much better understanding of the price action and hopefully increase your odds of success on the battlefield. Okay. I like to say trading is like going to battle. It's like going to war. You need to have the proper weapons at your disposal, know how to use those weapons so that way you can increase those odds of success on the battlefield. All right. Now, if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's going to be it for today's video, and I'm out.